Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's coming up to 3 o'clock here in the UK on the 25th of May. The American market is opened up in the green. As you can see, advances ahead of the declines. It's given back a little bit, and as you can see, the Dow a miserable 10 points above yesterday's close. So the under short-term trend on VectorVest is up, underlying trend is up, but the longest term measure of the trend, the confirmed call, is still down. The medium term measure of the trend, the DEW, should turn up today if everything stays in the same place. Let's just have a look. That's the DEW template. If we look at it over the last 3 months, and I go to the DEW, you can see that it still hasn't printed a signal. The last time I looked, the DPO was in positive territory, and that's in fact turned back down again with the market. So I'm a little suspicious of this market, and the reason for that I spoke about yesterday at the VectorVest Q&A. Let's just have a look at my favorite market, which is the S&P. It was up 12 points a moment ago, and it's up 5 now. So if you have a look at the S&P 500 and get rid of the MACD and have a look over the last 3 months, this level was attacked on Friday, and as you can see, and yesterday afternoon, well, yesterday I had an order in to short the darn thing below that low and took that order out. Today it broke up very nicely yesterday, and there's still a battle going on here, and as I said yesterday, folks, I believe that the outcome of this battle will define our market for the next week or two. It did its best to get up this morning, and the American market, a lot still thinking 8s, 1/8, and that means that markets tend to break if they move 12 points or 12.5 points, if you like, above a major figure. So the major figure here was 4,200, and it just couldn't get above 4,212, and was in fact sold off of that level. If we have a look at the intraday action, and I get rid of this line so it doesn't get in the way, we have a look at the intraday action. That's the intraday action, and as you can see, the market opened up. It was up above that 12.5 for a second or two, and now it's sold off, and down below that low was the break of the first 5-minute range. An awful lot of the algos will be shorting it here. That's just a bit of noise really compared to the bigger battle that's going on. If we have a look at the 24-hour market, the reason that I was suspicious of this move up is that this is the huge sell-off that we had a couple of weeks ago, and then we have a wave up, a wave down, and a wave up. Now that pattern is a pattern made famous by Gartley. It's a bearish pattern, and I felt Friday these highs were attacked. As I say, I had an order in if the market opened below Friday's low to actually short it, took that order out as it broke up, and then I felt that this level would be attacked up here by the shorts at 4,200, and as I speak, that's in fact happening. So the outcome of this battle will define us, and I know many of you feel it's illogical as to why something happening in New York City should affect the price of shares on the London stock market. Well, it does, I assure you, and I see that the London stock market is flat. We'll go to that in a second, but I'd be much happier, folks, if we clear above, let's say, 4,220 odd. That would be really good, and so let's just watch this today. Now in the US, I've taken 2 positions. I've taken one in AIG which is up a tick or two. That's beautifully with the trend, and as you can see, it's pulled back into one of my spring patterns. Nothing that new here, and it's going very nicely indeed, but I only got into it here. So it's going to take a while to get through that high. It was doing much better a moment ago, but as the overall market sold off, it's come off with the overall market. Clearly it's a huge player, so a long way from making any decent money in that. The gold market looking strong today, and clearly 1900 is the next big level for this. Now this market's making its mind up here. It is very overbought, both on the daily and the weekly charts. But if it breaks much higher, folks, it's starting to move into a major trend after this flag pattern is completed. The same sort of trend as it broke into here. It was overbought here for weeks, and in a trending market it stays overbought for a very long time. So we've got a very important level coming up in the gold market. I think it can easily come back and test, but my word, it's looking very strong this afternoon. I see my Pan-African resources are up a little bit, and I see that polymetal is holding its head above that £17 level, which is great, and my GDX spread position is well into the money. And as we speak, this thing is moving up towards the 1890 level. So precious met 1891, and next level will be 1900. So gold shares should have a really good afternoon. I'm talking it up as I speak. So that's looking fine. The trend's intact, and sooner or later it's going to attract a great deal of buyers up here who could have concluded that this overbought signal is rubbish, and it's just going to actually move into a trend like it did across here. I'm very positive about the gold market. Technically it looks wonderful, and I've spoken on many occasions about the big prize, which is that weekly even monthly cup and handle pattern, which has got a target well up $2,300 or so. But it won't give us that money easily, folks. All right. If we do look at the UK market, here we are. Everything looking much stronger in the UK market, and I'll repeat, if there is a risk to the UK market, it's pullback in the American market. Don't get stressed about that pullback that I probably anticipate in the S&P. It's probably a relatively small 200 to 300 point move. Nevertheless, it will cause our market to in fact stall for a day or two or a week or two. SLP has got a smack this morning, and if I now go to viewers, SLP got right down to 120. It's rallied a little bit, 123 I think the last I looked, and I've had lots and lots of messages about that. Folks, all of the miners have come back this morning, and I think that what we have to do, what I'll have to do, is to protect capital there. Okay, so if you see it coming down and clipping the VectorVest stop loss, closing below the VectorVest stop loss, then there's a very easy solution. Just hit the button, take your money. If it's a false signal, it starts back up again, we can buy it again. It's not the end of the world. This KNOS, the numbers yesterday were absolutely marvelous, in line with all the VectorVest expectations, but the market obviously believes it's not enough, or it believes that it can't sustain the growth. But it was off 25 pence yesterday on great numbers. I see it's off a tick or two today, so this needs to be watched. It looks very oversold on the short term, and the numbers were absolutely wonderful. Games Workshop is broken up. today, and Cranswick is a tad above that £40 level. I bought a few JD Sports this morning. That's all I've done, and I've added to JD Sports. I like the pattern in JD Sports, and again, I know I'm a bit of a one-trick pony, but as you can see, it's the same damn thing, and I like the look of it. I think that this can move now. Do I know what's going to happen next? Of course I don't, but that's a pattern that stood me in very good stead over the years. Pretty much the same pattern that I bought into in AIG, and I've been buying into it for a very long time. And folks, this is a mirror image of the pattern that I just explained on the S&P 500 4-hour chart of the S&P 500. This is a bullish Gartley pattern, and the one I showed a second ago on the SP 500 is a bearish Gartley pattern. I'm going to be speaking about those patterns for the first time in the course that I'm doing for VectorVest called When to Sell, and in that course I've detailed the Gartley pattern in particular in reference to how to actually place stop losses if you're in fact incorrect, and where you place your target if if the share obeys the rules. So I bought into JD Sports. I have no idea what it's done, but it looks to me as if it wants to move strongly. I repeat, folks, just watch that SLP position. If the platinum price comes back, if commodities come back, then it'll come back with it. It's had a very good run. Lots of people will be wanting to protect profits from I'm into it from 47 pence. I've added to it along the way, and many people will want to lock those in, so just be careful. Don't hesitate to bank that sort of money. If you go back to the front page now, we can see the advances in fact come down a little bit in relation to the declines, but the Dow is still up 39 points, and the S&P has regained that 4,200 level. So hopeful that this move can keep going. And certainly, folks, if we break up through this level and we get up to about the 4,220, it means that this pattern is in fact hasn't worked, and all of the people who were short here, and I assure you there are lots who were short here, they're going to have to cover their short positions, which would cause this to actually move very strongly indeed. So a huge battle going on at the 4,200 level for command of this market, which in my humble opinion will define our portfolios for the next couple of weeks. If this pattern fails, this bearish pattern fails, then we should see an exceptionally strong and high momentum move upwards, which would take the S&P to about 4,000. Well, let's just work out where it would go to. If I pull this back a little bit, the next target would be 4,376 if this breaks. So that would be 176 points on the S&P if this breaks, and I assure you I will be doing my best to get as many of them as I can. So I hope I've explained the dynamics of this market. There's a huge battle here between those people that believe that the stock market's going to hell in a handbasket and those people that are optimistic. I'm not going to buy into any more positions until I see that battle resolved. Thanks very much as always. I don't mean to nag. Protect capital at all costs, folks. So you can always get back in again. I know it upsets the perfectionists out there to have to get out and back in, and people whine and moan about commissions. I know, but protecting capital is absolutely everything. Thanks very much. Bye bye.